Hello there. Welcome to Economics Grade 12. In this video, we want to look at a question from market failure. So we are going to go through the extract that we are given, and then we answer the questions that are following. So on 3.3, reads start the extract below and answer the questions that follow. So we're given an extract of market failure, and the extract reads, in the country of Mali, the government will be able to build 1,800 schools if they spend all their resources on the production of school, and 12,000 houses if they spend all their available resources on the production of houses. And the need for houses and schools, however, is 16,000 and 13,000 respectively to optimally satisfy the needs of the people in the country. The roads in the country are also in poor condition, but the government cannot prioritize this now due to a shortage of funds. So this is the extra that we are given that you need to read and understand. And then we are going to the first question, which is 3.3.1, which reads, identify the number of houses the market will provide if all resources were spent on houses. So we go back to try to find which number we given. So in the first statement, we are told that in the country of Mali, the government will be able to build 1,800 schools if they spend all their resources on the production of schools and 12,000 houses. So we are given 12,000 houses, which means 12,000 houses is the correct response that we have there. So on the answer section, we'll see that we also have an indication of the 12,000, that is on 3.3.1. So we can go to the next question, which is 3.3.2, which says how many schools should the government provide to reach the socially optimum allocation. So you see that the social optimum allocation is indicated on the second paragraph, where it reads the need for houses and schools, however, is 16,000 and 13,000 respectively to optimally satisfy the needs of the people in the country. So social optimum it's being indicated on the basis of the needs of the people. And you will see that the term social optimum allocation also, we can describe it from the point of view of the ability of the provision for parameter estimates are based on sample sizes. So you'd see that according to the information that you are given, we are given 13,000 representing our schools. And so we have got 13,000 on 3.3.2. So if you come here, you'll see that we have got an indication of what? Of 13,000. Then we can go on to the next question. Briefly describe the term market failure. And this question has got 2 marks. So you just have to give a brief description in terms of what is market failure. So basically, this is the meaning of market failure. So you'll see that market failure, we can describe it from the point of view that it's an economic situation defined by inefficient distribution of goods and services in the free market. So whenever there's inefficient distribution of goods and services, we are seeing the emanation of market failure. So on the other hand, we can define it from a microeconomic point of view. That is, we are defining it as a steady state of disequilibrium in which the quantity supplied does not equal the quantity demanded. So whenever there is a shift from the equilibrium point. Remember, when the market forces of demand and supply are left free to prevail, we are going to have an equilibrium point where we are going to have the determination of the price, where there is an intersection of the supply and demand curve, supply curve being positively sloped and demand curve being negatively sloped. So the point that they meet becomes the equilibrium. So if there is a shift in terms of that position, we say there is now disequilibrium. So that's where we have a creation of the market of market failures. So this is a definition that is being based from a microeconomic point of view. So if you go to our answer section, you would see that we have got a brief description that we are given there in terms of what is a market failure. So this description reads, market failure occurs when the forces of supply and demand fail to allocate resources efficiently. So this is what we have, and then we can move on to the next part of the question, which is now 3.3.4, we say why are markets reluctant to provide public goods such as roads. So we can go back to the extract that we are having, and I will see that on the last sentence, it reads, the roads in the country are also in a condition, but the government cannot prioritize this now due to shortage of funds. So our answer that we're going to provide should be based on the basis of a shortage of funds. So if you go to our answer section, I would see that 3.3.4, the first point that we have is that it requires a huge capital outlay, which is challenging for the private sector. So obviously, since we are having shortage of funds, it means we are not able to meet the capital outlay that is required. So it requires a huge outlay, which is challenging for the private sector. So that's so you see that this reason we are deducing it from the issue of having shortage of funds. Then the last point is that the cost to produce is too high, which is very clear. We cannot meet the cost because of shortage of funds also. So this is what we have in terms of 3.3.4. Then we go to the next question, which is the last, according to this video, on market failure, which is 3.3.5. We are now here, and it reads, how can the government encourage positive externalities? So you would see that we have got a term that is there, which is saying positive externalities, which is a term which is key according to this question. We need to understand what exactly do we mean by positive externalities. So we can start by trying to understand what is an externality. So you see that an externality is an indirect cost or a benefit. So you would see that when you're talking about an externality, it can be either a benefit or a cost to an uninvolved third party that arises as an effect of another party's activity. So we have got an example of air pollution, which can cause some effects with a third party, that is the community maybe around the business is operating. So it becomes an externality. So you'll see that an externality we can deduce a positive externality when there's a benefit is going to lead to a positive externality. When there's a when there is a cost that is being imposed on the third party, we are going to call it a negative externality. So in this case, we have got a positive externality. So to define now when it's now a positive externality, you would see that this is a benefit received or transferred to a party as an indirect effect of the transactions of another person. So you would see that now it comes as a benefit when it becomes now a positive externality. So you would see that also this is when, for example, a business makes another party better off but does not receive any compensation for doing so. So in this case now, we say there is a positive externality. So according to the question is saying, how can the government encourage positive externality? So I would see that according to the responses that we are having to that question, we have got them at 3.3.5, which the first one is saying the government can provide subsidies which create products or services with positive externality. So the government this is the provision of subsidies. Remember, subsidies are linked to the fiscal policy through the government expenditure. So it means that the government expenditure has to be increased. So we are obviously going to employ the expansionary fiscal policy, whereby we are going to increase government expenditure, and obviously as subsidies, part of government expenditure will be also increased, and we are going to have a creation of products or services with positive externalities. That is what we have in terms of the first point. Then the second point is saying the government can provide goods and services that generate positive externalities when private markets are under produced. So this is what we have. So on the last point, it's emphasizing on the provision of goods and services that are going to generate positive externalities. So this is what we have, guys, according to this video. Those who have been subscribed, please subscribe and share. We're still coming with more videos as we prepare for exams. Let's share the link to our colleagues who are doing grade 12 economics. As for this video, I'm out. We'll meet again in the next video.